You're listening to your host and psychotherapist, Rhonda Spaziani, on Spaz on Mental Health on greeninkradio.com.
Are you listening? He just repeated the words that came out of her mouth. Now they're listening.
Hello, this is Rhonda, and this episode of Scary Sibs is What is Gaslighting? The term gaslighting actually came from a 1938 British play called Gaslight, and then there was two movies made after that, 1940 and 1944, named Gaslight. And that's where a husband was trying to manipulate and convince his wife that she was losing all touch with reality in order to commit her to a mental institution so he could steal her inheritance and her money. And this term has made it into the public speak as a clinical psychological term, as well as a political commentary, because in the last few years we've seen a lot of narcissistic personality disorder examples in the public. There's a lot of narc abusive role models, if you want to use that term loosely, out there. And so it's become very much a topic of conversation. What is gaslighting exactly? It's a tactic where a person is trying to gain more power, both with someone individually or collectively. So like for the politicians, they're trying to gain more votes, etc. And any one of us is susceptible to gaslighting. It's a very common technique that narc abusers, and I'm going to say narcissistic personality abusers or antisocial personality abusers, they're narc abusers or antisocial abusers, just for brevity and because I kind of like it. They use that in order to gain control and to manipulate. Narcissists, cult leaders, it's done very slowly. So there's the old story about if you put a frog into hot water, it'll jump right out, boiling water. But if you've put a frog in tepid water and just very, very, very slowly increase the temperature, the frog will boil to death. Well, that's narcissistic abuse. It's like death by a million pinpricks, truly, over time. And it comes in two basic forms. There's unintentional form, which is most commonly used. So that's probably like all of us have been susceptible to that. We've probably done it ourselves and we've been victims of it. So for instance, if you were little and you went running to your parents and they were like, stop crying, I'm sure Billy is not bullying you, you're just being oversensitive, or it isn't that hard, why are you afraid? So they invalidate your personal perspective, and so often that after a while you become very insecure about your own personal perspective, and that may carry into life and actually tee you up to be a little bit more susceptible to being a victim of narc abuse later in your life as well. And then the second, more devious one is intentional malicious. And that is when people are using intentionally manipulation and control to gain power and to control you. Most often the reason why people want to use gaslighting is they want to really gain a ton of power over you and they want to dominate. And it comes from a myriad of reasons. Narcissism, antisocial, they want power and control, baby, power and control. And they're often in our family. So we talk about scary sibs. We may have been under this type of narcissistic abuse our whole entire life, and it's not until we get to adulthood where we start going, whoa, what is going on here? And you start kind of catching on very many years later about what's going on. And there's some phases that we go through. And even as adults, when we've been a victim of this for perhaps our whole entire life, we'll go through these phases. So first it's disbelief. Oh, well, they didn't mean it. That was just, they didn't mean to be rotten. And then we may still have our defenses, may still be somewhat shored up. But we're starting to lose our footing a little bit. We're starting to buy into the abuser's toxic impression of us, and now we're starting to lose our footing, but we still have some defenses left. But we're getting worn down. And now depression is the final phase, and that's when it's really wearing us down. We're becoming really uncertain and insecure. And these three phases, disbelief, defense, and depression, kind of overlap. It's not 100% linear. And we have to be very careful because a gaslighter personality, they're often in positions of power. They often rise through the ranks because they're narcissists and antisocial personality disorder. They don't care. They will run over everybody to get what they want. So they end up often in positions of power. We often end up being subordinates to these people professionally. I don't mean personally. None of us are subordinates to anyone personally. And these people are highly manipulative. They're incredibly charismatic and charming. So I always say, do not blame yourself if you ended up in a relationship with a narc abuser, because they are masterful at manipulation. They are professional manipulators. And it's very hard to often ascertain that these people are this toxic until it's too late. Some of the ploys that they use is they tell a lot of lies. So at first you're like, what the hell's going on? I know that this is a lie, but they will lie and lie with a straight face. They will lie to people around you. They will lie to you. They're very blatant about it. And what they're doing is they're starting to set up a precedent for you. So once they tell you a huge lie and they get away with it, now you're not sure if anything they say is true or false, right? So they keep you really off kilter, really. That's one of their main goals, is to keep you very disoriented. And they will deny they ever said anything unless you have, even though you have the proof, they will deny it. I didn't say that. You're like, yes, you did. No, I didn't. I mean, you could have recorded them and they would deny that. Oh, you fabricated that. You cobbled a couple different conversations together. So now you're starting to really question your reality. And they say it very emphatically. So you're like, maybe I am wrong. Maybe my memory's a little faulty on that. And they use very common phrases to make it all your fault. Oh, you're too sensitive. Everything bothers you. Ringing a bell? I never said that. I'm not angry. Although all their actions are showing that they are angry. Maybe they're ostracizing you, they're giving you the cold shoulder, whatever. It's all your fault. I wouldn't behave this way if you didn't do blank. And you're like, why can't you be the person that you were? Oh, I want us to go back to the way we were. Well, I would, but it's all your fault because you are too insecure. You're jealous. And they're often cheaters, and so usually if you're insecure and jealous, it's because they are cheating. This is why nobody likes you. Triangulation in play here. I'm going to do another episode on triangulation, so I won't get into that now. You're emotionally unstable. You're not well. You're losing it, right? These ring a bell, don't they? You're so petty. Well, you go over the smallest little things. Oh, you can't take a joke, but the joke is always at your expense, right? They use what you love as ammunition. So if it's your kids, if it's a self-concept that you love, or your family, they don't care. They will use whatever they can. And they just are relentless. They just keep on going and going until they wear you down. And that's one of the really diabolical things about gaslighting. It's done very gradually. You're the frog in the tepid water. You're death by a million pinpricks over time. Oh, a little lie here. Oh, a little cheating here. Oh, a snide comment. Oh, a denigrating comment. Or making fun of you at a party at your expense. And before you know it, you can get sucked into the vortex of gaslighting. Oh man, it is bad. Gaslighting is so insidious. Be careful because their actions don't usually match their words. They look for what they're doing rather than what they're saying. Their words mean nothing, guys. Nothing. Look at their actions. Now, once in a while, they'll throw in some love for you, and that will really confuse you. They'll say something nice. This is after they've cut you down, and then they'll say something nice about you or give you an attaboy. And usually it's something that you've done in service of them. So then you're like thinking, oh, they're not that bad. What am I thinking? I'm always saying that they're so... Maybe it's me. Maybe I am negative. Maybe I am super opinionated and negative and picky. They know confusion will weaken you. So think about all what happened politically. All the confusion that was going on for so long. The lying, the confusion, everything. none of us knew what to think anymore. None of us still know what to think. The country is still majorly divided on the masterful manipulation of people in power. Very scary, because that's what happened with the Holocaust. They project onto you, so they'll accuse you of cheating over and over and over again because they're cheating. Or they'll accuse you of lying and being untruthful because they're untruthful. They project totally on you. That also deflects any attention really from them. Because if they're so busy thinking you're cheating, you're not really thinking, well, is he cheating? Is she cheating? And here's one of the things they love to do. Remember F the Flying Monkeys episode? And if you didn't hear that, circle back to that. They love to align people against you. They love to gaslight you. They love to get their flying monkeys. They love to bash you. They're always the victim. You're the bad guy. You're very intentional in your evilness, according to them. They tell other people that you're crazy, that you're losing it, and that you're the liar. Oh, she's constantly lying, or oh, he's constantly lying. They are masterful, guys. And so that's what gaslighting is. It's basically twisting your words all the time, twisting your action, using very intentional approaches to get you very confused, very off-kilter, very insecure, to turn even loved ones against you. It's very, very toxic and very unhealthy relationship. I always say they're like sharks. They're off for themselves, and if there's blood in the water, be careful because they're coming for you. So please, if you're in a relationship with a narc abuser, even if it's a family member, limit your contact, get away, get help, because it's not you. It's your scary Sib. Thank you, and tune in to all the other good shows on Green Ink Radio, and this is sponsored by Green Ink Marketing Communication, as all shows are. Check them out at greenink.us.com. They bring your stories to life. See you next time.
Music provided by Immunuri. Check them out at imunuri.com. Thanks for listening to Spaz on Mental Health. Tune into greeninkradio.com to listen to other great shows hosted by a collective of imperfect gurus. greeninkradio.com, an experience for the curious mind.